Hello, and welcome to the Animation Dojo, episode 5. Thank you, phone. Uh, Hi, my name is Pedro. I'm an animator. I've been an animator for over 20 years now, been an animation teacher for around 10 to 12 years. And I'm your classical animation instructor. No CGI. This is like the bare bones of what animation is going to be. So, in the spirit of that, we've gone through a couple of classes. They're on the channel. You can go check them out. But today we're gonna tackle basically like the bare bones of what you would do as an animator on a studio, and it's a walk cycle. So basically, a walk cycle is you'll draw two steps, and the first uh, drawing will match the last drawing, so it will be like a cycle that goes on and on. So that's why we call it a cycle. And I mean, this is very simple. I mean, these books are 20 years old, but if you get like the Richard Williams book, uh, the Animation Survival Kit, there's really good examples of on how to do a walk cycle. Also, another one that has really good examples is this one, the Preston Blair cartoon animation book. They don't fit well in shells. You see, it's kind of like a weird shape, kind of rectangular, but really good information here. Very simple. And as always, I encourage you for your first cycle to do a very, very simple character so you can control everything that's going to happen. So right now, there's a few things. Let's go to the software we're using, which in this case it's Toon Boom. Uh, you can do this with anything you're using: Clip Studio, Photoshop, Toon Studio, uh, Open Tunes, like I'm using here. Uh, any software, like as long as you can control frames and you can press play and see what you're doing. That's gonna. Which there's a lot, and there's a lot of like open source software you can use. Like Open Tunes is one. There's another one called Tahoma. There are like, I mean, the options are endless, but this is not what we're here. We're here to see uh, a walk cycle in action. So the things you're going to need here with the walk cycle is in the software a way to measure your strides. And in this guys, this is like a very like animation, like old school field guide. And the field guides are these little cells you see here, like this little like rectangles. That's called a field. So you can say like, okay, I'm doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a 7 field walk. But I mean, if you don't have a field guide, you can basically do but measuring, right? Like I'm gonna do it this really quick, like a little rail that looks something like this, and that way you can see where your heel goes as it progresses back from post to post. Why I did it like a little bit like a fake perspective here, because the far heel, it's gonna be like skewed a little bit like further than the front heel, and that way you can show it's not a completely like flat. So it's just like assuming in a very simple way the illusion of perspective. So there are 4 poses we need to do in a walk cycle, in a simple walk cycle, which are the stride, which is the one we see. It's the point where the feet are the farther apart. Then we have the low point. The low point is when the front foot plants on the floor. Then we have the pass, and it's called the pass because it's when the back heel passes the front heel. But as you see, it's not really happening here. But it all depends on the flair you do as an animator, like what you're doing. But the pass is basically when the back leg passes the front leg or the heel. Then we have the high point, which is the highest point of the heel, and then we get the stride on the other side, right? So remember those. You got stride, low point, pass, high point. And then you repeat those same poses on the other side, and then you get your character walking. See? So things to look forward when you're doing a walk cycle. And that's why I did a couple of like separated the thinking process. What drives the up and down movement of the character as you drive is basically the movement of the legs. And that starts in the pelvic area, which is what we see here. So your pelvis should be doing something that looks like this. Okay, going up and down, up and down. So it should look something that looks something like this. Like, let's say this purple, let's make it purple too so you can see. This purple like ellipse is our pelvis, right? So we can find the center of it. So the center of that pelvis, trying to control the volume of the pelvis, is going to be doing something that looks like this. If you do a little chart, so you got 4 positions, right? The first position would be the second tier. So we got the stride, right? Then wait, the stride would be here. Yeah. The stride would be on the third line. Then we have the low point. Then we have the pass, and then we have the high point. Right? So let's do that again. So the first point of the center of our pelvis is going to be 1, 2, 3. So we got the stride here. Then we have the low point. Then we have the pass, and then we have the high point. That way, you got this going on. See? So as you progress, then you do like what the chest is doing. So that's how you make it interesting. So the chest is going to be reacting to what the pelvis is doing, but don't exaggerate it that much because you don't have that much time. This is 8 drawings, so it's going to be really fast, right? So try to make a subtle reaction to what the pelvis is doing, and then you do the head. You got the head reacting to the chest is reacting to the pelvis, right? So getting all those relationships going, then you can get something that's more coherent. See, you see like the weight distribution of the character as he's walking. That's how you convey weight. So basically, it's a form of follow through or overlapping action, right? You get the pelvis driving the chest, driving the head. And the arms are basically it's a fairly simple thing with the arms. The arms is basically doing the pendulum, right? And the pendulum, let's do it in another color. Let's change the color to a red. So you get a pendulum, right? The widest part of your pendulum, it's going to be your low point, right? So you go low point and low point on the other side, right? So the pass, it's always going to be at the center, and then you'll be, in this case, you got coming from the stride, low point, pass. You see, the pass is here. And the high point would be here. So you see, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the low point of this arm is going to be on the other side. Will be like you're drawing 5 and then go back to it, right? So yeah, basically that's what you're looking for when you're doing a walk cycle. I encourage you to do it roughly and then clean it up. For example, here I cleaned it up with vectors. And do it several times. Like this exercise, it's for you to do it several times until you get like all the information you need. Especially get books as references. I think you can get them in PDF. The Animation Survival Kit and the Cartoon Animation by Preston Blair. But once you grasp this, here comes the fun part. How do you imbue intent, or how do you show how your character is feeling through a walk? And basically, it would be adding more drawings to your between the cycles. Like for example, if your character is scared, how would that affect his walk? Like if you're scared, you really don't want to be found out. So you might don't want to make noise when you're taking steps. So you got to be really careful between your stride and how you plant the foot. Is going to be really slow, right? It's going to be. I always play music when I'm animating in my head, but it's going to be really slow. So basically, coming from the high point to the stride, it's going to be, very, very careful. So that would mean more drawings there, and more drawings as he plants the foot. So basically, your low point. So you might do, see. So there would be less drawings between coming from the low point to the pass to the high point. It might be less drawings. If your character is part of a marching band, what happens when somebody marches? Is it spends less time. The feet spend less time planted on the ground, and they spend more time, uh, from the lower point past high point. So you'll add more drawings there, and basically that's it. Basically that's how you do a walk cycle. I don't know where else to go with this. So let's review. Let's turn off this. So you got the stride, low point, pass, high point. You repeat that on both feet, and then you get your walk cycle there. Remember that your character, it's been driven by the pelvis, so the action is been driven by the pelvis. So the chest is going to react to the pelvis, and the head is going to react to the chest, right? And then as for the arms, we're talking about a pendulum here. So a pendulum that looks like this. So we got stride, low point, pass, high point, stride on the other side, right? So that's what we're looking for. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is drawing number 5, which is the stride on the other side as your arm comes back. Yeah, so the arm coming back would be, you got, actually no, you got another drawing. So you get the stride here, low point, then you get pass, high point, and stride. Can I get it? What I'm doing here? So yeah, the extreme is always going to be the low point on both ends. So yeah, I messed that up there. So let me do it a little bit more clearly here. Let me erase this. So you got low point and low point. Stride, pass, high point, stride. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. And we got 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we go back to the stride here. Right? I mean, explaining it makes it a lot more, trying to explain like this makes it a lot more difficult than it really is. Makes it sound a lot more difficult, but it's really not. You just know that the end points of your pendulum with the arms, it's going to be with the low point. So here. Also, another thing, the arms are a big opportunity to do follow through. So if you see when the arm is coming back, you see the hand is trailing. The hand is trailing the arm, so you see it's like a little bit like following. Then it bends as it comes back. That's the principle of follow through and overlapping action that we saw on the leaf, right? Like you can see it here. See, in the stride, we have the arm doing this. See, so this angle here, it's denoting where the hand's coming from, right? When it's going back, say for example here, let's exaggerate more. You see the hand trailing. So it's very important for you to take into account overlapping action because this is how you apply it. So this is giving you, this gives your animation a sense of direction, a sense of strength. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I can see the comment. Sorry, I was very, how you doing, Abigail? I was like concentrated, like I don't really want to be, I'm concentrating on trying to explain this. How you doing? So yeah, so you see, it's very important for you to keep in mind that follow through helps you with the direction of where your animation is going. See here, for example, we have the next stride. You see the arm doing this. And let's exaggerate it. If you want to exaggerate the movement, it's going to be doing something like this. Yeah. And then you see on the low point on the other end, the hand starts coming up front. So you see from the first stride to the second stride, you see the hand doing this here. right? That says like, okay, he got to the end of the pendulum, the arm starting to come back, and now what you have is basically the arm changing direction. So as I said, if this is confusing, I refer you to the second class we did, which is called the leaf or the blade of grass, which explains like what overlapping action and follow through is. So you see, just try this four is going to be a very fast, uh, a very fast walk because we only have 8 drawings. So I mean, it's going to be something like really fast. You see it here. Boom, 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 boom. Normally, when you do a walk cycle, it's not going to be this fast because you need to. Oh, it all depends. Like the things like there's no right answer. Like make it move fast or slow. It's basically how you want to make it move. So there's a lot of experimentation you need to do. Like for example, in a walk cycle that's really fast, I will keep the arc smaller because that's how timing works. So if it's really fast and it's a small arc, then you won't have like a flaming arc that makes no sense. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing like a very fast walkle and you have the guy flailing his arms, really, it's gonna look like he's running, not walking. Or something's wrong with the dude. So that's why you keep it's always not there's not always like a right or wrong, or it's more akin to what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to convey. So in this case, like yeah, it's not about making it fast or slow. It's what you want to do. Like let me look for some examples here in the Preston Blair book. This is a very classic like Disney Warner Brothers style of animation. But if you're doing manga or I don't know any style you like, if you like the European style of animation, like the principles are the same. It doesn't really. Let me see. I haven't seen these books in years. I should be more prepared. Yeah. What we're talking about is frame rate, right? So normally I animate in the old ways, which is 24 frames per second, and that gives you control over the second. In what sense? Uh, uh, okay, let me find a good example. Okay, so basically, if you want to do an action in half a second, it's 12 frames. You can do 12 frames. I can't zoom in, but can you see where my cursor is here? Here we're talking about exposure. So I'm exposing one drawing every 2 frames. That's called animating on twos, right? So animating on twos gives you enough fluidity. Like normally people say like, yeah, I animate in 12 frames a second. I would rather do it at 24. So if I want to do 12 frames a second, I expose one drawing every 2 frames. And why is this? Because if you want to do something that moves fast or give flair to your animation, then you revert to animation on ones, which is 1 frame, 1 drawing, right? I'll show you some examples later once we're done with this. But yeah, like you animate 24 frames per second, you animate on twos. Hey, what's up, Glenn? The quality just dropped. Yeah, I live in Abigail. I live in a mountain, so yeah, like the internet sometimes does weird thing. I apologize. I'll take it up with my internet provider. So yeah, like so that's the thing. Like you really need to be paying attention to your exposure. So whoa, 144p. Huh. That's weird. But can you distinguish anything that's on screen? Can you see this too? Sorry. Yeah, the thing is like this video is gonna be uploaded to the channel, and that's gonna be at full quality. So worry not. The videos are at full quality in the channel. Like later, if you want to come back and revise them, this is what I can do for like. I'm trying to get like better equipment actually. Okay, so yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, so when you're animating on tools, it's like basically like the norm. Some people like if you go to a studios, like studios is all about saving money. Like you'll see animation that's being done on force. But if your poses are solid, it might not be a problem. But that's when people say like, "Oh, I didn't like that animation." Like, it's not that the animators were are bad or anything. It's just that it's always budget constraints, and with animation, that's a big problem. And hey, what's up, Devil? How you doing, man? And that's a thing that yeah, it's unfortunate that people like criticize animation, but I mean, yeah, like everybody has an opinion, right? But more than likely, when an animation like it's quote unquote bad, it's because of restrictions, restrictions with the budget, or maybe they're in crunch time. Sometimes there's what's a good example? Uh, I'm forgetting the name of the series, but it was really good series about an anime about demons and whatnot. And dude, they spent so much money in the action scenes that are just pristine. Then when you see like the like down low acting scenes are horrible. But it's just that the studio ran out of money. Maybe they had a crunch time. It's like, dude, we need these out now. So that's a thing to keep in mind. Like the best time, I always told my students, the best time. Uh do I put color on it? Yeah, like this is rough animation. So as a you put color later. Like for example, this I did clean this animation up, and it's some like looks like this. See, very simple. Like I'm keeping a character simple so you can see, you know, uh, how things are done. And this is cleaned up in vector. Like I'm not really a fan of vector animation, but uh, it gives you a lot of control. Let me just turn off the other layer so you can see it cleanly. It gives you a lot of control, and if you need to make adjustments on the lines, it's easier with vector. But yeah, 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 Glenn, I'm doing some work with Glenn. Like Hatch is something that's in the books coming. So yeah. So the cool thing about vector is that, and I haven't done vector in a while, guys. So you have to bear with me. Like for example, it's just a line. I think that's shortcut to C. Yeah. So it's a line. You can move it around, and that's another thing. Oh, why I don't like it? Because it doesn't feel natural to me. Like I'm more of a classic animator. Like I learned in pencil and paper. So doing vector like kind of throws off my mojo. It's a personal thing. Like I'm not bashing people who use vectors. It's just like it's not uh, a personal preference of mine. Yeah, but so you see with vectors, for example, in this software which is called OpenTunes, uh, you can you know draw your lines. Say I draw a line here in vector, but if I press C, then I can control move it. You can play with the width of the line as I see fit. For example, like here, if I want like a thick and thin effect, hey, what's up, Roy? If I want a thick and thin effect, I will lower the size And you see, so there's a lot of things, but to me, this is very mechanical, and I like the feel of just doing raster. It's more akin to a pencil. Wait, there you go. More akin to a pencil. Like if I do another layer here, and let's say I want to clean this up in vector. Let's bring this guy up. I'll make a new level, and I say tune raster level. And since this is going to be a cleaned up layer, what I do is I choose an ink pencil. Right? For example, I chose ink here, and this is more akin to. Oh, sorry. It would be more natural, at least to me. For example, this is to. Let's bring the size to 0.2. Not -3. Let's say -2. So you start cleaning up your drawing like this. And I don't know, to me, it's something that's more natural. That's another thing. Like OpenTunes allows you to like turn the canvas like Photoshop, which is basically how I learned to animate with an animation disc. Like you could rotate your art form to your artwork, so you can have more like control over your lines. So right here, I'm not being as careful because this is the first drawing, but this would be a good way to show you how cleanup is done. Like I'm gonna do a video on cleanup right now. Eventually, I'm gonna do a video on cleaning up animation, which will go more in depth on the things to look out when you're cleaning up. For example, in this character, I didn't do it in the vector version, but I like the floating eyebrow, which is something that was done by the UPA studios with the guys who did like Mr. Magoo and Gerald McBogenboing. They do like this classic floating eyebrow character thing, which I really like. So you see, try to keep your lines as flowy as possible. Like don't do this, like trying to hatch it, because if you do that, then it's going to affect the fluidity of your animation. So be on the lookout for that. The pupils are too small and separate from the eyes, so this will work. Also, another thing, in animation, you don't put the shadows in the same layer as you put the shapes. Have you make post to see what? Oh yeah. Eventually, like I'm doing like all the classes video first, and then we're gonna start what I'm calling like jam, when we're all on the same page. We're gonna be jamming about animation, talking about series, talking about stuff. But at this point, I'm just like laying out the classes. There are like around 12 classes, and they're gonna be out for you to take them at your own pace, right? And I'm setting up a Discord also. So if you guys want to show me what you're doing, maybe we can discuss a little bit about animation. Like I really want to make a community of people who want to learn how to animate. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And the Animation Dojo Discord is going to be coming real soon. Because that's something that I see missing. There's a lot of people. Discord is like it's a platform where people like can create groups and they can share videos and information and whatnot. Like I see a lot of groups of people who appreciate animation, but not like teaching animation like how it should be. And I mean, I've been an animation teacher for years, so I think it's a it's a natural thing for me to do. I mean, I love doing it. So, so you say that maybe I'm too close here. So here, just to create a little bit of three dimensionality, you make lines cut. You know, like the thigh goes a little bit into the calf. And those are the decisions you take when you're cleaning up the drawing. For example, like I'm putting the front of the foot a little bit in front of the back of the foot with this little cut line here. So those are the things you're looking for when you're cleaning up. Not so much when you're doing rough animation. When you're doing rough animation, like the under drawing, as people call in comic books, you're more concerned with the movement, more so with the line quality. So you separate the two tasks, so you can do them both properly. So this leg is behind, so we're gonna put the torso a little bit in front. That will affect, this line will affect this line here. My eraser is too big. Put the line here. Always, guys, remember to save. Always keep saving. You don't want your software to crash and then you lose your work. So that's important. Oh yeah, you have to. What asks for your password? The Discord? Yeah, Discord is something you need to install on your computer and create a profile. And then you'll see like channels within Discord. Let me find the Discord channel. Should have it around here. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, there's the Discord, and you can join there and let me know so I can properly welcome you. So now that we have this, we can go with the color. Yep. Right, so let's say we got a color here. Let's choose at random, a purpley hue here. And you see what happened here? It filled out because the lines are not closed. And normally how I take care of that is I turn down the opacity of the animation so I can really see what's happening. You see there's a hole here, so just fill it up. The arrows, let's keep them black. Pupils black. We need a white color for the eyes. And for example, like if you're using OpenToons, like when you use the paint bucket, you're gonna get like spaces that looks like this. Like, oh, that's ugly. How do I fix that? It's very simple. Within the bucket option, you have here on type, you have a normal bucket, you have a rectangular bucket, a freehand bucket, and pick freehand. So you pick the freehand, choosing the color you wanna use. Just come here and you draw a little circle, on the affected area, and you'll take care of that. So those are things that you find out when you do in vector. There's another. It's a whole different pipeline, but bitmap. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what bitmap is, Abigail. Sorry. So yeah, what I meant by uh, okay, by shadows, like you'll create a new layer here through raster, and then you'll create the shadows on a different layer. Let's do it like an extravagant color, so you can see like around like when you go beyond rough animation, and then you're like in full production. So let's make it an ink brush tool. You see, and you can be like really fast, not that accurate with this for a reason that I'll show you in a bit. Oh yes, yes, you can import a movie sequence and use it as a rotoscope guide. I'm not a big fan of rotoscoping, Roy, for one simple reason. Like animation, it's for animation to look good, you need to exaggerate, right? And when you rotoscope, you're copying life, and that happens with movies that look amazing. For example, Fire and Ice. It looks amazing, but the animation is like syrupy. It's because it's all rotoscope. So I don't know. Like to me, it's not like a failed exercise. That's like a harsh judgment on productions like that. But I don't know. Like I'm not a fan. So the reason why we do, yeah, movement guide. Yeah, I get it. Like for example, if you're like animating a horse or something that's very complicated, you can use it as a guide. Yeah, of course. Like I did buy like the Edward Muybridge motion animals in motion book for that same reason. Like whenever I draw a horse, no matter how many horses I've animated in my life, yeah, to a different name. What name are you getting? Uh, like I took the link directly from the. It's called the Animation Dojo with exclamation mark. That's the server. I posted the link directly from the server, so should be it. So okay, so these are our shadows, right? So right now, well, at least in this software, some art class, Sam's art class. Who is Sam? I'm not Sam. Let me see. Invite people. I really don't know what to say. Sam's art class. Like I don't know who that guy is. The thing is, like, if I go grab the, yeah, my name is Pedro. Yep. So okay, so we're talking about how we treat effects. Like for example, we go to a different would be like user interface here. Oh, and okay, so we got layer 10, column 10. Let's look for it. So you can come here and you can apply effects to a layer, right? So you can't really like tell within a layer how to scrutinize what part of the drawing it's going to affect. It's going to be like isolated on its own layer. That's why you do like shadows and highlights on different layers. For example, here, let's say insert an effect. Let's go with layer blending, transparency. Let's turn it off so you can see it. So you see, it's red. Now it's a little bit translucent. It's not affecting the underdrawing. And then we insert another effect. Let's say a blur. This blurring effect is to this is called OpenTunes. It's an open source software, and it's a good guide to learn how to animate. But I don't tell people to like marry any software. I mean, any software is good for animation as long as you can control frames and you can control the timing. And there are different. There's like Tahoma, OpenTunes, Toon Boom, Adobe Animate, uh, Mojo, which is something that I use professionally. Okay, so let's bring the blurring down here. So you see, so you get your red shadows here. Let's go back to drawing. Let's change the color of the shadow. Something that will make more sense. Something like this. So you see, you get a good shadow there. So if you want to do a highlight, again, you make. Let me turn this off because animating with the effects on, like, it taxes your computer. So be on the lookout for that. Don't do it. You make another toon raster level, and let's just make really quick some highlights. We need an ink brush. Let's just say we got, it looks like this. So I'm not really thinking about what material this character is made of. So he might look like plastic or whatever. This is just as a matter of example. Right, so we go freehand, we filled it up, filled everything up. Close this up here. Maybe here too. And here. And again, let's look for a more coherent looking color. Something that looks like this. Let's go back to animation. Here we got column 11. You have to find it. Here we are, column 11. And get up. And here we go insert effects. We go to light and glow. So the blurring on the glow is too much. So it's from 4. Let's bring it back to a 2. And we can bring the brightness to a 75. And there you go. So you see, you can do it at a background. What I was explaining first, like if you're going to do a background to a walk cycle, what you need to take into account, it's your fields. And what is a field? In animation, cool. An animation, you have this chart here called the field guide, and you have to measure from ankle to ankle how many fields your character is moving, and that will give you the speed of your background moving behind. Like I started to make a background, but I couldn't finish it, and it's something that looks like this as the character is progressing, but I haven't finished it yet, so it's gonna be, I'm just gonna confuse you if I'm going into that. But yeah, guys, this is, well, so we ended up doing a raster cleanup as opposed to a vector cleanup, which is something I really don't like, but nice. So that's the thing. Like it's up to you if you want to go the vector route or the raster route. What really matters is that you have a solid foundation for your animation and your roughs, and then everything else is just icing on the cake. But it's really important for you to do your rough animation properly, because if you do a beautiful cleanup on an animation that is not really appealing, or there's something wrong with it, it's just not going to look good. So make sure you have this done. So yeah, guys, this is the walk cycle. As I mentioned before, I encourage you to do first a simple walk cycle, so basically 8 drawings, and then think about what your character is thinking, right? If your character is scared, if your character is happy, if your character is excited, how would that affect your animation? And how many more drawings are you going to add, and where? As I was explaining with a scared character doesn't want to be found, so maybe you'll have more drawings between the stride and the low point, because he's really trying to be gentle, like pussyfooting, I think it's called. Like I don't know. He's really want to be gentle from this position to this position. And, for example, if he's in a marching band, maybe you really want to exaggerate the pass to the high point, because it's like really like strutting, you know, like showing a lot of intent and personality. So that's the thing. This is just the simple walk cycle, right? And this is something you need to dominate first, but afterwards, that's where the games begin, so to say. So, okay. Before I leave, I want to show you guys. I'm working on the intro for the animation dojo, but I have to find the scene now. I think in the online classes scenes. Here we go. Animation dojo intro. So I've been asking myself that for my whole life, Abigail. Sorry. No, I have no idea. I'm just here to convey information, man. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of camera movements here, but I'm a big fan of blaxploitation and those movies like Cleopatra Jones and the Casino of Gold and Dolomite and whatnot. So I thought it would be proper to animate this. So on Thursday, I'm gonna be working on this solely. It's not gonna be a class, because that way maybe I can attract more people. Like the environment of the class is just the class as is, and nothing more. But here, like I'll be able to like we can like jam on this, and we can like exchange ideas and whatnot. So, oh no, he's not scared. He's going like the okay. I don't know if you know who Black Belt Jones is. Gene Kelly. He's doing the sweet. Like his ki was very distinctive because he didn't want to be Bruce Lee or Sammo Hung and all those guys. So instead of the ki, he had sui. So it's that I got the sound for that, and yeah, this is gonna be fun. So yeah, guys, I guess this is the class for today. So I want to keep the class video short, so you guys can go and revise it and don't need to go back and forth within the video. But yeah, the Thursdays are gonna be like a jam day, so the videos are gonna be longer. So thank you so much for being with me. I hope we grow this channel together and we all get to animate and do great things. It's a time for indies and comic books and animation and in art, and let's do this. So this is episode 5 of the Animation Dojo. Thank you so much for being here, and see you on Thursday. See you guys. And yeah, I should have the in stream thing ready, but I didn't. Nothing but love, guys. See ya.